She thought she had found the perfect Tinder date, but within hours, she would unknowingly walk into one of New Zealand's most shocking criminal cases. The CCTV footage captured everything, and what happened, investigators uncovered next left the entire country stunned. It was December 1, 2018. 22-year-old British bagpiper Grace Millane had recently arrived in New Zealand after traveling the world. That evening, she left her hostel excited to meet a man named Jesse, someone she had matched with on Tinder. Just a day later, like many first dates, they agreed to meet in a busy public area where Grace felt comfortable and safe. Jessie had already spent time drinking before meeting her, but when they finally meet, everything appeared completely normal. They laughed, talked for hours, and visited several popular bars across Auckland. CCTV footage showed them smiling, enjoying each other's company, and looking like ordinary couples spending a fun night together. As the evening continued, they grew closer, even sharing a kiss before heading back toward Jessie's hotel. Before going inside, Grace sent one final message to her friend, saying the date was going amazingly well and that she felt they had an incredible connection. No one knew those would be the last words anyone would receive from her. The next morning was Grace's birthday. Friends and families filled her phone with birthday wishes, but every single message went unanswered. At first, no one thought much of it, assuming she was busy exploring New Zealand. But as the hour continues into days, concern quickly grew into panic. Meanwhile, security cameras captured Jesse moving through the hotel alone. Instead of behaving like someone whose date had simply left, he appeared unusually busy. He repeatedly entered and exited the building, carefully watching his surroundings while carrying various items. He visited store and purchases a large suitcase along with several cleaning supplies, spending time checking whether the suitcase was large enough before paying. Every moment seemed ordinary on its own, but together they painted a deeply disturbing picture. What made the situation even more chilling was that later that same day, Jesse arranged another Tinder date with a different woman as if nothing unusual had happened. During that date, his behavior reportedly became unsettling enough to become her leave early, trusting her instinct that something didn't feel right. Looking back, that decision may have protected her from becoming part of an even darker story. That evening's CCTV footage once again captured Jesse returning to the hotel, carrying a carpet cleaning machine and additional cleaning product. Hours later, camera recorded him struggling to move a heavy suitcase using a luggage trolley before loading it into a rental car. At the time, no one knew what investigators would later discover. But those recordings would soon become some of the most important evidence in the entire investigation. Over the following days, Grace Love's once grew increasingly desperate. She hadn't contacted anyone, hadn't posted on social media, and had completely disappeared. Her father flew from the United Kingdom to New Zealand, making an emotional public appeal for information and asking anyone who had seen Grace to come forward. As media attention intensified, investigators began retracing her final known movement. They gathered CCTV footage from restaurants, bars, hotels, and city streets, carefully piecing together the timeline of our last evening. Every camera seemed to point toward one person, the man she had spent her final night with. Detectives soon identified Jesse as the last known person seen with Grace and quietly began building a case. By December 5, officials arrived at the City Life Hotel where Jesse was staying. As they entered the lobby, he appeared to notice them and casually attempted to walk away. But experienced investigator quickly intercepted him before he could leave. At first, he calmly answered their questions and claimed everything had ended normally after the date. But detectives already possessed hours of surveillance footage that told a very different story. Little by little, the inconsistencies in his account began to grow, an investigator beginning to uncover what had really happened behind the hotel room door. From that moment, investigators carefully examined every piece of evidence, surveillance footage, purchase record, witnesses' statement, phone activity, and hotel record all pointed in the same direction. They discovered that the suitcase cleaning supplies and even extra night stays at the hotel had been paid by using Grace's bank card after she had disappeared. When detectives searched Jesse's hotel room, they found physical evidence that contradicted his version of events, making it increasingly difficult for him to explain away the growing list of facts. During his interview, Jesse repeatedly changed part of his story. insisting that nothing criminal had happened, and attempting to convince investigators that Grace had simply left on her own. But every new answer created more inconsistencies, and detective calmly confronted him with the timeline they had already constructed from the dozen of CCTV cameras across Auckland. Eventually, under the weight of evidence, Jesse admitted that Grace had lost her life inside the hotel room, but claimed it happened accidentally during the inmate activity. His legal team later relied on his explanation in court, arguing that there had been no intention to harm her. However, investigators focused not only on what happened inside the room, but also on everything followed afterward. The extensive effort to conceal evidence, the purchase made afterward, the transportation of the suitcase, the disposal of Grace's belongings, internet searches related to hiding a body, and the detailed timeline capturing on surveillance camera presenting a far more different picture to the jury. Investigators eventually located Grace in a remote area outside Auckland, bringing a heartbreaking end to a search that had captured international attention. Medical findings and the surrounding evidence did not support Jesse's explanation, and the prosecutor argued that his action before and after the incident clearly demonstrated consciousness of guilt. After hearing weeks of testimony, reviewing the overwhelming evidence, the jury rejected the defense argument and found Jesse guilty. In February 2020, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum known parole of 17 years. Following the trial, additional women came forward describing disturbing encounter with him after meeting through Tinder, adding even more concern about his past behavior. Grace's case became one of the New Zealand's most discussed criminal investigations, not only because of the extensive CCTV evidence that reconstructed nearly every step of the timeline, but also because it reminded millions of people around the world how quickly trust can be misplaced. What began as an ordinary first date ended in unimaginable tragedy, while the determination of investigators ensured that the truth was uncovered through patience, technology, and overwhelming evidence. Grace's family later established a charitable foundation in her memory to promote safety and support for young travelers, ensuring that her legacy would be remembered not only for the tragedy itself, but for the positive impact created in her name. Her story continues to serve as a powerful reminder that staying aware, trusting your instinct, and looking out for one another can make a meaningful difference, even in situations that seem completely ordinary at first.